welcome Matheus, my first guest on the Not Just Leadership podcast hosted by Global Institute for Leadership. Great to have you here. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much, Dominic. I'm not really sure why I'm first, but I can say one thing, it's only up from here.
Yeah, let's do this. So why don't you give yourself a little bit of an introduction and share who's Matheus and where you're from, what you do?
Yeah, sure thing. So my name is Matheus Cardoso. I'm first of all a man of God, a man of faith. I was born in Brazil, but grew up in Australia. I'm just wrapping up uni now, doing law and finance. And back to you, Dominic.
Yeah, nice. So if you had some friends describe you, how'd they describe your personality?
Yeah, sure thing. So I'm a pretty unserious person. I like having fun. I like classic Aussie banter. I like all of it. So, just a funny, goofy person, but can also get into some pretty deep topics. So me and my friends always have very good times.
Yeah. Well, the theme of the podcast is not just leadership, so we're open to where this conversation goes. But obviously we connected here in Brisbane through the Brazilian community, which has been really cool. And I guess we're both Australians, but you're first and foremost also Brazilian.
Yeah.
Share a little bit about like your background coming from Brazil to Australia. What was that like? And I know you were quite young when you made the move.
Yeah. It was very cool meeting you at the Brazilian men's night. I thought it was really cool to see an Aussie speak fluent Portuguese. So yeah, if you guys ever meet Dominique, just know he speaks fluent Portuguese. He's very Brazilian. And when you're walking down the street, you're having a very Aussie day, and you go upstairs, you meet a lot of Brazilians. You see Dominique, he has a Aussie accent, and then he starts speaking Portuguese. It's such a blessing. My upbringing in Brazil, I remember one day I was in Brazilian school. I would be 8 and I was watching Nemo. And then a few days later, I'm in Sydney and I see the Opera House and I'm like, oh, here's where Nemo lives. But it absolute privilege to come to Australia at a young age. I think that my parents carried a lot of their cross and a lot of their hardships without me knowing. So for me, growing up here, I didn't see any of the immigrant struggle that I see now being part of Literary Church and all the hardship, the hard work that they do, all the struggles. But I just had a very lovely Australian upbringing, playing cricket at school, playing handball, throwing the footy around, and obviously playing football, playing soccer at school as well, keeping that Brazilian spirit alive.
So if you came to Australia when you were 8, like what were your memories of Brazil and the move across?
Yeah. So I remember it being pretty awesome actually, and very cute. If I can get the footage, I'll show you. But I had a little Brazilian flag and I waved it to my family. Like in Brazil, very big family. And I was just very proud to go to Australia, but also I'm missing them a lot. But I was very young, so I don't really remember much about Brazil and much about Australia as well. It was just a very good time in my life, I feel like.
Yeah. And what part of Brazil your family from?
Yeah. So my family's from Cuiabá, Mato Grosso.
Yeah.
So it's where Australia played in the World Cup in 2014. So
Who did they play there?
I believe they played the Netherlands.
Netherlands, the amazing Tim Cahill goal.
Yeah, the amazing
crossbar.
amazing Tim Cahill go. So it was actually, it was one of the most bizarre days of my life. I, tuning into the TV in Brisbane, Australia, to my hometown, seeing Tim Cahill score a goal on the Netherlands team. So it was amazing.
Yeah, I had a mate who was there. Actually, he told me last year when I caught up with him, he told me that he was there at the game and he had ducked out to get something to eat just as Tim Cahill's goal was scored. And I think good old Timmy Cahill, he's a bit of a legend for us Socceroo fans. He might not be so well known in Brazil, but he's definitely well known in England and Australia for his playing for Everton and also representing Australia.
Yeah, absolutely an absolute weapon. He's a FIFA ambassador as well now. So every time you go to like the Women's World Cup that I'm pretty sure we both went to, you'll see him there cheering on Australia. So he does a lot of good work for the Australian football.
So I guess like growing up in Australia, what was your childhood like? Just a regular Aussie kid, as you said, here in Brisbane. Did you grow up in Brisbane?
Yeah. So we first came to Sydney, and for me, just as I said before, just waking up in Australia was an absolute dream of mine. I didn't speak a lot of English at the time, which probably protected me from all those primary school conversations. A found story of mine is I was a bit of a chubby kid, and I remember going to the Sydney Aquarium at Darling Harbour,
Yep.
and all the kids used to call me Dugong. And I was like, "Oh, Dugong, that's a cool nickname." Till I saw that it was like a fish cow. It's like a big mammal
Yeah.
from the sea.
It's
But
got like a round like head.
yeah, yeah. And for me, like I got a bit mad. I was like, "Oh, this is disrespectful." But yeah, that was the start of Australian banter. I feel like which is one of the best things if you in my opinion, it's one of the best things if you like know what it is, because you might be playing touch footy in the school oval, and someone will say a joke, and yeah, it just keeps it very lightheartedly, and yeah, like my childhood was pretty much like that. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's a really special thing about Australian culture. I mean, I was born and grew up here, but I've had the privilege of living in four different countries, I think, and visiting about 23 countries and counting. And I think the beautiful thing about Australian culture is we don't always take ourselves too seriously. We're able to have a laugh and give each other a fair go and an opportunity to succeed,
Yeah.
no matter our background or religion or race or anything really. I
Yeah.
think it's something we have to be really careful to protect and preserve because yeah, we want to maintain that lifestyle and culture that we have here that attracts so many immigrants.
Yeah, absolutely so. And that's, you framed it a lot better than I could. But yeah, that just really sums it up. And, like my childhood here was nothing but blessings. Like even, having to write like what you want for your mom, like in the paper bag for tuck shop,
Oh, yeah.
or,
Good
like
old
waiting
days.
in line to play handball, cheering on the red house or the yellow house. Like, yeah, they know how to do it right. Like, I do remember like a little bit of school in Brazil, but like in Australia, there's a lot of sport. They really push you. So yeah, it was a great time in my life, and yeah, I'm really privileged to have gone through that.
And were there any like challenges that stood out to you growing up? Or you said you had a really blessed upbringing.
Yeah.
Maybe more towards the teenage years or early adult years, like any kind of challenges that have set you back along the way?
Yeah, no, like absolutely. I feel like I'm still figuring myself out, and I do believe that if you're in your 20s, your early 20s, or even your late 20s, and you say that you got it all figured out, you're just lying to yourself. I don't think everyone believes you either. So yeah, like I think, in my opinion, something that the Australian school system could probably change a little bit is that grade 12, and like I think it was a unnecessarily hard time in my life that they just force you to get really good grades. You just kind of like forget who you are, and you're trying
Yeah.
to get into university, this
Yeah.
and that. And yeah, like I just remember that being very stressful. That's when I began feeling a bit anxious. I actually came to a point where I couldn't publicly speak, and it was just all that pressure that you have to go to uni, you have to do this, you have to do that, otherwise you haven't done anything with yourself. And now looking back, I have a lot of mates that have gone through different paths in lives, and most of them are doing pretty well.
Yeah.
So yeah, like if I had to point like a big challenge in my life, it would have just been like a bit of that mental illness that came like in the end of school, just through like a lot of pressure. I was feeling very sad, just very not off myself. But yeah, like if anyone's listening and they're going through that the grade 12 struggle, just remember that it is just 1 year of your life. Like don't burn yourself out. Don't do anything that you'll regret later, and that it will all be okay in the end.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a long journey. Like we live for what, 70, 80, 90 years. And
Yeah,
I think when we're young, we want to make the most of every moment and we want to not lose time and we want to get ahead and, be successful. But also when you put it in perspective, it's like, okay, like when you're 30 years old, you're still young. When you're 40 years old, you're still young.
Yeah.
Because if you're living in modern medicine, like people are living well into their 90s, particularly here in Australia. If you put that into perspective, it's like such a small part of your life. Of course, it's very important. It's foundational years.
yeah.
But we just have to sometimes take the pressure off ourselves and just say, okay, like I had a tough year. I didn't do a lot professionally, but that's okay because I was growing personally.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that you touched upon this as well in that, like it is okay to not do okay, but in my opinion, it's very necessary for you to bounce back. So like, as I said, like grade 12, probably wasn't the best for me. I still managed to get into uni, but, like some of that just lingered on and, like I might have not been doing so well at uni and it did like get to me, but to summarize it, you are enough, you are okay. Just because you don't get really high grades, it doesn't justify who you are. The job you have, the role you have, how much you earn, doesn't constitute who you are as a person. Like life's a lot more deeper than that. So it is okay, especially when you're younger, to make mistakes, to go down your own path. And, like you might see what you're good at, you might meet your special person. But yeah.
Yeah. And I look back at my schooling years. So I grew up in Mackay, so regional city in the northeast of Australia in Queensland. And I went to a Christian school for the first 10 years of school. My parents worked very hard to get us into that school, and the school was very gracious in giving us a discount so my parents could afford it. And I then, for the last 3 years of school, I actually studied online with the Brisbane School of Distance Education. So this was between 2016 to 18. So well before, a few years before the COVID period. And when I told people I studied online, it's like they couldn't understand.
Yeah.
It's like online. So like, how does that work? Like, so you're just by yourself? It's like, no, it's a proper school based in Brisbane, but they had 4,000 students all across the world and in Australia and all Australian citizens. And I met amazing people through that school. Like in my French class, there was a guy living in Peru. His parents were missionaries. The ducks of our school was living in the slums in India. His parents were also doing missionary work. There was a guy in my English class. He was like I think he was British Australian, and he was like sailing around Thailand with his parents.
Oh, awesome.
So like, there's not just one trajectory to take.
Yeah.
And even when I went to university, I originally went to the Queensland University of Technology to study a Bachelor of Fine Arts with a major in dance performance.
Yeah.
So I auditioned for that degree in my final year of school. It was an audition degree because it wasn't based off your academics. It was a dance performance program. And I was successful and got a vice chancellor's scholarship. So I thought, this is the right career path for me. I'd been weighing up whether to pursue like dancing as a career or go into business. And so when I was in my senior years of school studying online with the distance education school, I also did a couple of subjects with the CQ University Start Uni Now program. So I got ahead of the degree and got a couple of subjects already credited, so I could fall back into that program in the future if I needed to. But then I got successful into the dance performance program. I thought, okay, I'll go with this option. Like it had always been a struggle for me what to pursue, and then I moved to Brisbane from Mackay, and in the first week of the program, the head of dance, she said to all the students, and there was only one other guy and like 20 girls and then myself. And she said, if you don't have a burning passion to dance every day of your life, you shouldn't be in this course. And I said to myself, I shouldn't be in this course. Like I wouldn't describe it as a burning passion the way she described it. I would describe it as like a love and a joy, but not and a challenge. I really enjoyed it because it was such a physical, mental challenge to do ballet. And then I ended up getting like a problem in my appendix. Like, well, it was an appendicitis. I don't know what it was, but it kind of went away miraculously. So I went to hospital at the end of the first week of the program and just like spent a number of hours by myself in a hospital bed just thinking about my future. I'm like, nah, I think I'll go back and pursue business studies. Like I did those 2 units while I was in school. So I have direct entry into that
Mm-hmm.
uni in that course. And I think there's a lot of young people who can relate who like
Yeah.
you feel like you need to pursue a particular pathway. And particularly because I had done so many years of training and my parents had invested money and I had invested my own money in it. I had a lot of people who knew me because I was from a smaller regional town, and
Yeah.
I felt like not necessarily an obligation, but I felt like I should give it a go, and I'm
Yeah.
happy I did. And then I've really felt, at 18 years of age, that no, this is not something I'm going to pursue professionally, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I did like a couple of dance teaching qualifications to like be a qualified ballet teacher. So yeah, I think that's maybe you can relate as well. Like,
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you might have felt that it was your natural path as well. Like ballet is one of those things that, I haven't done it before, but I assume that if you don't train for a week, 2 weeks, you lose a lot of that stamina and a lot of that strength that you need to dance, especially at such a high level that you were doing at university. But that conversation that your professor had to you kind of strikes back to two conversations that I had at university right in the first week, and that was as I was choosing my business major. There was a big open day, and it was split between economics and finance. And the economics professor was a very lovely guy. He said, economics, we help government, we help our fiscal policies. If you want to help people, do economics. And then he changed his complete demeanor, and he goes, "But if you want to make money, do finance." And I feel silly, but that speech really changed my trajectory, which is
so you went down the finance route.
yeah. So I went down the finance route. I was like, if I'm going to study hard, I might as well be repaid for it.
Yeah.
And the second one's my law professors. And they do this movie thing, and they make it seem like law school's the end all be all. If you're not top of your class, you're going to fail in life. And they stand up and they're like, "Oh, now this part of the class, sit down. And this part, you guys are the only ones that will graduate." And yeah, like a lot of my friends that started law school didn't end up following it, but I wouldn't say that they're failures at all. I would say that they made a decision to follow something that might not have been natural to them, but is something that they're doing very well in now. So yeah, just because you hear your university professor saying if you study finance you're going to be wealthy, or if you don't study hard in law you'll be a failure. And yeah, I don't agree with that, but yeah.
And these days, the job market's changing a lot now. Like, there's
Yeah.
increasingly a openness to employing people who aren't necessarily university educated and who have maybe short courses or have like entrepreneurship under their belt. So I think like you can learn so much just from opening a little business. Like when I was in school, I set up a cleaning business to help pay for my ballet training. Called it Dom's Domestics. Used to clean people's houses, and like it was pretty good money at that time. Like this was what are we, 2025? This would have been 10 years ago. So I'm 14. I was about 14, 15 when I was doing it. And it was pretty good money, like often just cash. I was able to pay for a lot of my dance training and like shoes and things I had to buy, and learned so much from that process, just like negotiating with clients and things. And of course they knew I was young and they were willing to give me a go and invest in me. And I was a good cleaner as well. I did a good job. And I think anyone who's not sure what path to pursue, a good option could be just to like have a little dabble in a side hustle, or like if you enjoy making a particular product, make it and try and sell it.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's of course a lot of competition these days, but if you have a niche product, or if you have a local community that you can sell it to, if you have a captive market, then why not just give it a go? Worst case scenario, like you might just break even, but you'll learn a lot from the process.
And I think it's important as well not to one, be too hard on yourself, and two, don't follow the trends too heavily. So when I was going through school, it was the start of the AI boom, And there's a lot of my friends that were considering dropping out of their courses and pursuing coding. And now these same friends that have dropped out to pursue coding can't necessarily get roles because AI is coding. So it's important to it's important to choose your own path, but it's also important to like evaluate the greater system that you're walking into to make sure that yes, you're not wasting your time. But I do completely like agree with you about side hustles or times off work or even holidays. Like a lot of people don't have a lot of time to think about their future and think about themselves. You've mentioned that like you had that time in the hospital, and that might have been a blessing in disguise. But in my opinion, like making sure that you look after yourself and that you do take some time off can really brew some really nice things.
Yeah, yeah. And so you talked a little bit about some of the challenges transitioning from school and going into university. I guess is there a key moment where something like clicked for you and you're like, oh, this makes sense, or you just still kind of figuring it out one day at a time?
I like that question, and I really wish that I could be here and be like, "Hey guys, I'm doing really well, and I have this big business and it's doing great, or I have a community and it's doing great." But I'm still on my journey.
Yeah.
I I remember when I started law school, my English writing wasn't good, for example, and it just wasn't good. And I was trying really hard to make it good. And, I had a really nice friend who's an associate now at a law firm, and he's a really nice,
Pause the show. We got
pause the
the
show,
notifications on.
pause the
Keep it
show.
real. Hey.
Sorry. So sorry, Dominic. Very
It's cool.
busy man, as you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
tell.
yeah. Hustling on
Um,
a Saturday.
uh, yeah, I just wasn't good at writing. I couldn't understand the legal textbooks because it's its own like little world. And I remember 2 years ago, I took some time away from my employment. I had a couple of gigs at law firms, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I did a bit of banking and finance, did a bit of personal injuries, and 2 years ago, I took a bit of time off, and I just sat down and I was like, hey, I got some time off. I might as well try at uni. And then I just realized that, like my writing suddenly got better, and, like I wasn't struggling so much anymore. And I was like, you know what? I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, nice.
Like you have to be proud of yourself, and you don't have to be so hard on
Yeah.
yourself either. So, yeah, like for me, it was a couple of years ago when I was doing the later units for my law degree. It just clicked. It was like, these aren't first year units anymore. These aren't second year units anymore. And, I'm not struggling. I've managed to take my writing where it should be. I managed to take my knowledge where it should be, my analytical thinking, my research skill. And I was so focused on getting that high grades that I didn't really give myself any time to realize that, I had been doing right. I had been doing okay. And that was a really big moment in my life because I just realized that, I can relax. I can be kinder to myself. And you're not going to do your best work when you're stressed, under
Yeah.
pressure,
Yeah.
big expectations. So, you have to allow yourself a little bit of room. You have to be kind to yourself. It's very good to have goals, but it's not a good thing to be extremely harsh on yourself, I'd say.
Yeah, yeah. And I think in terms of leadership, like there's often leaders who we see exemplify those traits and leaders who don't exemplify those traits. I think we can learn a lot from other people, both other people's mistakes and other people's successes as well. And there's always, like throughout these different points in our life, there's always, particular leaders that step in and support us or mentor us. And then there's other leaders who are maybe too harsh on us. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, like if I was in your position, I probably wouldn't react like that.
Yeah.
Like for you, what does leadership mean? I know it's like the word leadership, some people are like, oh, I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know what to
yeah.
say, but like, what does it mean to you, like leadership, and any examples you can give
Yeah,
of it?
sure thing. So, yeah, leadership, its whole ecosystem. You can get really deeply down some political roots, but for me, leadership starts in the family. It starts with being the best person you can be, because I believe that you can't or you shouldn't be a leader if you firstly aren't a good person in your family. And like you might meet a nice lady, or I might meet a nice lady. Sorry, Dominique.
I'm married.
Yeah, he's definitely married. And if they don't treat their parents well, or you're like, oh, like why not? So yeah, like for me, leadership starts at home, and that's through some good role models. I'm lucky that my dad is a very nice Christian man. He has very strong values, and he's a provider in that Christian sense that might get this podcast taken down.
I won't cancel you. It's all right.
Taken
Let's
down
go
now. So yeah, I've been blessed to see such a strong man in God. Take my family here and go through some big struggles and keep his composures up to a point that you ask how my childhood was. If I asked my dad how those years were, he was, stressed, had to work so much, had to travel so much for business, and I'm here like, yeah, handball was great. Handball was great. School was awesome. The aquarium was nice, but a big breakthrough. But yeah, I believe leadership in this world, the world of social media, the world that glorifies certain types of result,
Yeah.
is a difficult world. Is a difficult world. It is moving. It is moving too fast, in my opinion, and I do believe that a lot of leaders would gain a lot from taking that step back and being, am I a good person? And you might judge that metric, or we judge that metric. Are we a good men of God? Are we good men of communities? Do we represent their interests? Like leadership shouldn't be used for the wrong reasons. It shouldn't be used to find wealth, to find power, to suddenly wake up with a lot of money in your pocket.
Where great power becomes great responsibility.
great responsibility. So yeah, I believe leadership is really carrying out to what you're supposed to do. You're representing people, you're representing their interests, and if you're gonna stand there and look pretty, take those very corny photos sometimes. You got to make sure that you are the man or the woman that you say you are, and you follow through with it.
Yeah, I think in today's world, like a lot of people, for example, when you're volunteering or working on a project, a lot of people are willing to say, oh, yeah, I'll help out. And then it's like, and then you get, push comes to shove and the project gets started and like, oh no, I'm too busy, or it's too much for me. I didn't expect it like that. And I think it's the same like for leadership. It's like if you're going to put your hand up, then you take on that responsibility and you take on that privilege and that expectation too. And it's not something to be scared of, but it's something to take seriously. I think, whatever we do, we want to do with a spirit of excellence. Yeah. Even just like my podcast, I just want to do the best I can, both in terms of quality of audio, but also the conversations that we have.
No, absolutely. And guys, just to interrupt Dominique here, Dominique's studio is absolutely beautiful.
Set it up in like 1 or 2 weeks.
He's put in the words. I really hope the audio comes out lovely. We can't fix much on the video side of things, but yeah, he's done a really good job, guys, to set this thing up.
I think, doing things with excellence will set you apart from others.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants to get involved in the latest project, the latest gig, the latest business, the latest whatever political party. But how many people want to actually see it through to the end and, come through with their words? So I think that's something I always try to live by is like, if I say to someone, yeah, I'll do it, I will do it.
Yeah.
If I say like, hey, I'm going to invite you on the podcast, I will invite you on the podcast.
Beautiful.
I really think that's important that we live by our word and do things with excellence, not just half-heartedly.
Yeah. And I fully believe that when you do that, people will just come to you and be like, hey, you've done this in the past. Why can't you do it again?
Yeah, the opportunities
do
start
it
to
again.
gravitate.
Opportunities start to gravitate, and if you're doing it for the right reasons, that's when you're in the really nice territory that you can really help people, you can really help communities. And I think that, yeah, like primarily like being honest, and yeah, like seeing it through, completing it, not just being the person that has the name on it, um is a very fulfilling part of being a leader.
Yeah. And I think these values, they often come to us in our childhood, in our background,
Yeah,
our faith, our family, where we come from. I assume it's probably the same for you. You know, growing
yeah,
up, these things have been instilled in you from a young age.
yeah, absolutely. So I'm a born again Christian. If you don't know what that is, Jesus loves you. Jesus does love you, and he will change your life.
Amen.
And I do believe that um, being a religious person, being a man of faith, is very important. You know, I might have thought that leadership was a completely different thing a couple of years ago. You know, it might have been a pursuit of accumulating wealth, it might have been a pursuit of accumulating power. But I believe that with leadership now, it is just a really nice opportunity to use that economies of scale, that people coming together, and there's this issue in this place. How do we do it? If you have that skill set, if you have that community, there's no reason why you can't at least tackle it. And even if it doesn't go through, even if you're not successful because of some third party issues, or things you just can't purely um, control, I do believe that you'll be very fulfilled in who you are as a leader.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's all a journey. Like it's all a phase and a stepping stone. We don't know what we don't know. We only can learn by doing and by trying.
Yeah,
For yourself, like what are you talked about, like you don't have all the answers, and
yeah,
that's the great thing about this podcast is just sharing with normal people. Like
yeah.
we're not
No,
superstars.
absolutely.
We're just
Yeah,
starting from humble beginnings. But like what are you still learning about yourself, or what are you like just taking it day by day, you know?
yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. So I'm in a bit of a pointy end. So my uni degree was very long, too
Like
long.
5 years or something.
Yeah, yeah. So
Six.
yeah, like 6.5. I
Yeah.
took a year off in the middle.
Yeah.
So it ends up being this very long thing. But I'm at a really nice pointy end where I'm choosing how I want to help, who I want to be in my professional life. I've had experiences in the past where I was doing well at certain kinds of roles, but I was benefiting the big banks, and I was happy with that. I was earning for that. Um, it didn't bring me fulfillment. I've tried to go into personal injuries, which is a very big market. In Australia, there's a lot of personal injuries lawyers. It's very common. Um, it's very good to get into. There's a lot of very nice people
Mm.
doing it, but it came down to the laws. The laws in Queensland, they're not necessarily there to help people in the way that I believe people can be helped. And I was also very privileged to be part of QUT's first AI and new technologies class. Now, that was something that I've pushed to the head. The vice chancellor or whoever was involved in the process of the AI and new technologies minor did not want to see it through.
Mm.
They made it into a master's now,
Wow.
which is, substantially more expensive than putting it into a uni degree.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've had to fight for it, and it was an incredibly rewarding experience. It really pushed me down to like legal coding. Breaks down law into simple binary codes, and it really got me thinking about how lawyers can actually help people instead of working cushy jobs.
Yeah.
So yeah, like right now I'm just reaching out, trying to get involved in as many experiences as possible, trying to find some good projects to go down, and I highly recommend anyone. And I chose to speak about the theme of high school and university because I do believe a lot of the listeners will be in that age bracket where there is a lot of big decisions. You might turn on your phone, you might see your friend doing very well. You might go to university and you might hear someone doing a bit better than you. It's okay to do things your own time. It's okay to go down your path. And one thing that I've learned through all of this is that, God works in his own time. God works in his own time, and you can't rush it. He might do it because you need to go through those failures, or you need to experience it. How boring would life be if, we just succeeded?
Yeah, exactly.
And
social media is just people's highlight reels,
yeah, absolutely.
who wants to post bad content on social media? No one.
Absolutely.
Everyone's posting the best part of their day, the best part of the week, the achievement they got. I mean, there's some accounts where people, they're very open and they post about their struggles, but majority of the content you see is the highlights.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So I think that, for me, it's about finding those good projects, and there are good people, guys. Don't get lost in the crowd.
Yeah.
There are good people. There are people that want to do good, and if it is a matter of time, if it is a matter of you have to apply for more things, or it is harder to get in, or the market it's a bit too niche, it will work out. You will reach there, and keep kicking, keep trying.
Yeah, one thing we've got to be mindful of is I think the people we surround ourselves with. It's amazing how much it influences us, our thinking, our mindset. So I think it's okay to be selective in the right, in the right sense of the word. And it's okay to protect your circle of friendships and relationships, because those people have a really big influence on you. So why just, go out with whoever on the street? Like, why not actually think about, does this person align with my values? Does this person align with where I want to go in life? Are they maybe better than me at something that can push me? Not seeing that as a threat, but seeing, he or her, she knows so much about this particular topic. I want to be around her. I want to be around him, so I can learn about that, and I can also share about things that I know that they might not be so aware of, and then together we can go through this life together and journey.
And those friends make it all more the worthwhile. And those are the friends you'll keep all throughout your life. They might not be just the same friends that you used to dance with, or, play soccer with, or, Brisbane's a very tiny city. Mackay would have been the same, just not because they're your neighbor that they'll be your friends forever. That doesn't mean you don't like them as a person. Doesn't mean you don't love them sometimes as well. It just means that life has put you in this path for a reason, and that, there will be better friends that can help you out at your times of need, and can celebrate when you're doing well as well.
I think the hardest time is that transition period where you're wanting to grow personally and professionally, and it's like you're peeling off the layers and you're letting go of some things and some old friendships, and you're trying to go to the next level. It's like it feels quite lonely at that point, because I've heard Erwin McManus talk about this on social media and some of his content too. It can be like the loneliest time when you're going through this transition, and I think those transitions actually happen quite regularly. Like it feels like it's a time that I mean, at least in my situation, like the last few years, there's been a lot of transitions. Like I've lived in a few different countries over the last few years, now back in Australia, and those little moments in time do feel quite lonely. But then once you get through them, you see like the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it comes down to a good point as well. And it's why, although my phone buzzed twice in this podcast, get off social media.
Yeah.
Focus on yourself. Can you spend time with yourself? Are you your own best friend? And if not, why not? There will come points in your life that only you can get out of things if you don't believe in religion. You can't rely on your partner. You can't rely on your friends. You have to be okay with making those big decisions. Dominic just said he's been in a couple of countries in a couple of years. You might think he's 30. I don't think he's 30.
24.
Yeah, he's
got married when I was 21.
way younger. But yeah, like I think
But yeah, I don't think we need to use our age as like a But yeah, it puts it in perspective as well.
Yeah, like it puts in.
As I said, I consider 30 as young. I consider 40 as young. Like I listen to a lot of Gary V's content, Gary Vaynerchuk, and he's like, he didn't make it until he was like 34. Yeah, he was out, working in a winery, in a wine cellar.
His father's
father's wine shop, and I always hope I can keep age in perspective.
Yeah.
And always see myself as young. I am young at the moment, so
Yeah.
it's like statistically, yeah, it's true.
Yeah. No, like,
But I want to
yeah.
be like in my 30s,
No,
in my
of
40s,
course.
in my 50s with the same mindset.
Yeah.
And I hope like no matter what age people are who are watching this, they feel the same.
No. Absolutely. And with technology and health, as you said, again, there's no reason why you can't do big career changes down the path. But yeah, you'll still need to be your best friend. You'll still need to make those hard decisions, and you still need to recognize when you've done right or wrong as well.
Yeah, that's something Gary Vee also talks about is, you know, being your biggest fan. Like,
Yeah.
you know, believing in yourself and like I'm not sure other people's approaches on social media, but I always like my own post. I know it's a little bit like a taboo subject. Like people are like, oh, don't like your own post. That's weird. I always like it because so what? Like I'm proud of what I put out there. I don't mind. It might look a little bit like self-indulgent, but
no.
So what? Like if you don't support yourself to begin with, who's going to support you?
Yeah,
you got to believe in
yourself.
yourself.
You have to believe in yourself. If you have good projects, you have to be the number one fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'll add to that. But if it goes down, take accountability. Take accountability. It's okay to move on. You probably should move on, and yeah, it will be okay.
Moving towards the end of this podcast episode, I wanted to just like hear from you if there's been maybe someone who's really inspired you, or maybe a few people that have really stood out along the way. Can be family, can be a famous person, can be anyone really.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very worried about tying myself to any big names, and that's just because of cancel culture. You know, I used to really like Kanye West's music, and then you when you see all that stuff happen, you're like, oh, can I really pin myself down to it? And that's happened over time with famous writers, famous movie stars, more musicians, more this, more that. If I was to say who I look up to now, it would still be coming back to that family value. It would still be my dad. Yeah. Being composed, being a man of God, being able to provide for your family. Like in my belief, family is a good gift. I hope that one day I have my own family and I can be a good father for my sons and daughters. Be a good man for my wife as well. But in terms of looking up to people, if I was to just put a disclaimer out there, guys, people won't be right 100% of the time. People have a lot of good opinions and one or two will come out. Don't focus so much on idolizing people. Focus on their ideas, what they're trying to say. And then come out to what you're thinking. Don't get confused by mass hysteria online, trends, too much negative news. Make sure that you're able to come through your own thoughts, your own decisions. And I believe that it is a privilege to be able to go speak to my dad, to have conversations with him, and to look up to him. But I believe a lot of people have really good grandparents, really good brothers, really good sisters, really good close friends that you can speak to as well, and that it's a safe space and you can just be vulnerable and just ask those questions that might not be as easy as writing on ChatGPT.
Well, Matheus, it's been a pleasure to have you on the podcast, our first guest. Thanks for accepting the invite and being so honest and raw. It's been really a beautiful conversation.
No, absolutely. Thanks very much, Dominic. You do a lot of good work. I look very forward to seeing your good work. Apologies, everyone. My first podcast. It's been great to see you guys, and thanks very much, Dominic, again.
Hopefully have you on again soon.
Yeah.
Who knows? Thanks, Matheus.
Thank you.